Wait. Is the announcement over?
No one else? Oh, did he finish?
Yeah. He finished.
Okay, great.
Finished.
Okay. That means we can start.
It's at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
10 o'clock show. 10 o'clock show.
10 o'clock show. 10 o'clock show.
Now, do we remember what city we're in? Do we remember what city we're in?
We're in Brooklyn. We're in Brooklyn. We're in New York.
New York City.
We're in Brooklyn.
It's a 10
Brooklyn.
o'clock
Okay.
show. People might be a little tight. So let's have some good energy.
Do you have
energy.
Do you have that?
Let's make lots of vocal. Eye contact. Eye contact.
I got it.
Eye contact. Eye contact.
And what is the name of the show we're doing?
Oh, the show?
It's
SmartLess.
So this is bananas for us.
Yeah.
And so to be out here in front of you guys, truly,
It's
it
so
is
sick.
Yes.
super humbling for us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Thank you. We're gonna switch.
I'm sitting over there?
Yeah.
I'm sitting there.
Where do you want to sit?
We're gonna sit down.
I sit in the
If that's
middle.
okay, because you guys are seated.
Because tonight's my guest, so I get the couch. Why is that
You
good?
don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, why is that good news?
might
Yeah,
not
why
be
is
great
that?
news.
I feel like, yeah.
Jason!
No, but I'm telling you, it's a good guest.
This is our last show here in Brooklyn.
Yes.
And I know, we're bummed to leave, believe me.
But wait, hang on. What are you guys doing tomorrow?
Yeah, that's a good point.
We'll do like a little matinee.
Yeah.
Oh, we should have done
Everyone's
that.
got to rest tomorrow. You got to go to church. You've got to go to.
Whatever I do.
Yep.
I like to talk about things that we go through on tour because we've never been on tour before. And one of the things is like touring and traveling. We stay in the same room, which is true. The
story.
same suite.
Yeah, we're
everywhere
staying
we
in the
go.
same hotel room.
Yeah.
It's
So far, everyone we've been to, every city we've been to, out of the 3 rooms, I've gotten the handicapped room.
Yeah.
And
By the way,
so, but
true story.
True story.
It's just crazy
So-
luck.
So the shower is level with the floor and it's a hand thing. I'm like, what? Like, it's no shower head.
Which
And
is
Yet to-
fine. It's just right. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
yet to complain.
Yeah.
I saved it for here.
Right.
Yeah,
I
so I
know.
can play.
Why do you want to do it in front of all these thousands of people? Just to make us feel bad.
Well, here's the other thing that I didn't talk about, which is, I don't know how you guys feel, but like.
Oh, get real.
No, like when you go out to eat at a restaurant and you order, like, first of all, the waiter comes around and he's like, would you like bottled water or tap water or whatever? And if I go, I'll have bottled water, and everybody else will be like, he's great. And then he brings a glass for every single person.
Right.
And you're like, I'm not selfish, but I'm like,
There
you
goes my
asked-
bottle.
There goes my bottle of water to everybody else. So that's
what part of that bothers you? I want to get down.
well, just whatever you want. You order that drink, but know that it was the thing I ordered.
Okay, I know, but is it the money?
No, it's not the money. It's not.
But
the
why
but
does
wait,
it-
but here's the thing that's even worse. If I order dessert, and these guys know, I love dessert.
Angel loves a sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's the same thing with the dessert. So you know, like when you're like, okay, does anyone? And everybody's like, nah, no dessert for me. Nah, nothing for me. And I was like, I'll have the chocolate cake, the oozing chocolate cake with the vanilla ice cream. Great. And then the waiter comes around, plate and a spoon, plate and a spoon, plate and a spoon, plate and a spoon. And I was like, well, now I'm an asshole if I don't share, and I look like a kid, like I don't want to share my food. But then, you can't win. And by the way, the point is that's happened when the cookies came the other day, and you're like, look, there's cookies, and this one's like, I don't want any. Let me have one.
So
Right?
Yeah, and the cookies were next to
okay.
8 plates of food.
Okay.
This one.
So let's just get something clear. So if you've listened to the podcast, you know that Jason has a very dangerous relationship with
No,
food.
I don't. Yeah. I just don't eat like
Right?
like King Arthur.
No, but you don't need to talk about it all the time, and I can't wait.
just
and
find it
I'm gonna
fascinating.
pay for your psychiatrist when they deal with this because it's so fucked up. And we live in a world where everybody's always talking about food and is it gluten-free and the thing and how many calories, blah, blah, blah. Who fucking cares?
Yes. Do you want to know what happens when I eat gluten? It's a disaster. It's a disaster.
You're so close to tears. Look at him. So I get some food for lunch, and then
But like, you say what you ordered.
Okay, so I ordered a burger and a steak.
Keep going.
That's true. That's true.
To split?
No. You ordered a hamburger and a steak and a bowl of cream corn something and a salad.
And blueberry pancakes.
And blueberry pancakes.
No,
It's
that was
not
a
even
different.
the same meal.
That was a different. No, that was a different meal. And then these chocolate chip cookies. They said fresh. Like, yeah, who's not going to get that?
Listen, you don't want to be rude, right?
I don't want to be rude. Anyway, he tried to shame me, which put me on the attack. I will admit to that.
Yeah.
And then out of spite, he decided to eat it all.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's
Then
like,
we had to
Yeah,
deal
but
with that
then
move.
you ate some of it.
I had a corner of a cookie just to release the valve. You know, I mean, you start to look at something, and then if you build up,
I honestly can't believe we're in Brooklyn. We're talking about this. Is funny.
I know, but you are the king, Jason. You are the king of nothing for me. What do you got there?
Yeah.
right.
And Sean, on the other hand, he will go to people's houses and bring McDonald's with him.
Absolutely.
Right? Oh.
Show him your trick if you're constipated.
I just do
Get
this.
up.
I do this.
This works, guys. And then it's 7 times and things start to come out. So he held it at 3 there. It's a whole thing, guys. You don't want to share a room with these two, ever.
And food, it's tricky for you because also you get real snacky at night now.
Yeah.
Well,
Listen, let's go ahead. You got me. She heard it.
gummies. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, guys, it's legal. It's legal now.
yeah.
I mean, why do I have to hide that? It's
No,
just
no,
like
you don't.
You guess what? It's like going down to the corner and buying a 6er of beer. There are more dispensaries in California than Starbucks.
Yeah,
You know?
it's true.
And yet I still will not tell my kids that Daddy enjoys a gummy. But don't tell them. But it's mostly for the CBD. You know,
Sure,
it's the inflammation and whatnot.
Yeah.
Sure.
Inflammation.
What's amazing is people used to get, like, I feel like when we were growing up, people get high, like at my age, you get high and you watch, like, The Song Remains the Same, Led Zeppelin, or you'd...
They know what it is.
Yeah. And then, like...
Yeah.
But like, Jason takes a gummy and watches MSNBC. And
Wait a minute.
I love
there's
that.
something so super
I gotta
weird and sad
focus.
about
No,
that.
but Jay got me on them, and they really work, and they're very healthy. And the only
Stevia sweetened gummies.
yeah, Steve. Yeah.
Oh.
And he will. It's the only time I will find golf interesting.
Yeah.
Is he will put it on, and I'm like, what is this? Blop. 10 minutes later, I'm like, this is amazing.
It's legal here, yes? Yeah. God, it's like, let's get on with it.
What's crazy is how much about, like, our eating habits and stuff they obviously know from listening to the podcast.
What
And
else?
so,
What else are we going to talk about?
I
We're
don't
not
know.
journalists. We're not smart.
No.
We're
Yeah.
just people that eat and sleep like
know.
everyone else.
It's so...
It's so true.
It's so boring. Well, again, we do want to say thank you for allowing this to happen, and that you guys, and that you listen to the podcast at all. For us, it was such a goof to do it, and then to be able to do this, it's such an incredible thrill. So we're really excited to be here with you guys tonight.
Thank you guys.
Very excited. Very excited. So, speaking of smart, which we are not, ergo SmartLess.
Sure.
Right? We decide to every once in a while invite somebody really, really smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the time, they're just our fancy, famous friends that are an easy booking for us because they're there having gummies and watching NBC with us. But tonight, folks, stuff's... I need to write my intros because I'm not smart nor young. All right, listen. Stuff's been a challenge for the last few years. But there are heroes out there that are working tirelessly to try to make it better. We got one of them here tonight. She's one of yours, New York. She was born in the Bronx, educated in Boston, lives a lot in D.C., and in fact, at 29, she was the youngest elected ever to the Congress. Guys, welcome Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. No way.
Yeah. This is you. This is you right there.
My goodness. Hi, everyone.
You guys,
Oh my gosh.
hero. Oh my gosh.
How exciting.
Right? I mean, see, this kind of stuff blows our mind. Here we are, just
It
three
does.
ding-dongs.
This is crazy.
and we get-
You came to talk about golf with us?
Yes. I wish you brought on somebody with opinions.
Right. Go. We're gonna get him tonight. We're gonna get him out of her. I got questions and stuff like that. Well, first of all, are you currently in town, or did you come up for this, or how often do you get to live in your home city and versus living in DC?
So this is one of the most common questions I get asked. It depends on the year.
Off to a great start. Tell me about your digs in DC. Do you guys all have to stay in the same kind of place? Is it like dormitories? Do you get a budget for an apartment or?
Okay, so if you're a normal
See,
person,
guys, I'm gonna ask shit you never even thought to ask a congressman.
Do you take the express train
Yeah.
to DC?
No, it's gonna be better. It's gonna be better than
Are
that.
you on a gummy?
I will not disclose. No,
No,
I'm just kidding.
but are you?
It's like semi-legal in New York.
Copy.
Okay.
Oh,
Is it really only semi-legal?
Yeah, it's decriminalized.
Well,
And
so what does that mean?
It's decriminalized, it's medically legal, and it's like on the way to becoming.
So wait, but so you can buy it legally. If you smoke it, it's illegal.
No, you can own it.
Can you use it?
You can use it. It's decriminalized, but decriminalized, you can't buy it in a shop yet.
Oh,
Right.
All
But
right.
we're on our way.
Yeah.
where you can buy it in an alley.
Yeah. Or a park.
Or a park.
Or a park.
Yeah.
Or a
All right.
park.
Okay. So your place in DC, do you get a budget for housing, or you got to
my God.
spend that yourself?
Okay,
No,
well,
this is
no,
this fast.
Okay.
By the way,
No.
I want to know too. I have
No.
10,000 questions I could ask you
Yeah.
because I'm the dumbest person
Well,
alive.
no,
Wait in line.
The detail, like, it is crazy. It is really interesting because most people who get elected to Congress are independently wealthy before they run.
I want to get into that
And
too.
so if you're a normal person and you get elected, like, there's no housing allowance, so you have to pay 2 rents. And
Your place at home and your place in
yeah,
DC.
or like when I got elected, my job right before was that I was bartending, and there's
What was the bar? Shout out to?
shout out to the taco shop on Union Square, which is still there.
Really?
Hey, some people know it.
So you have to pay for 2 places.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're doing it when you go there. You're doing it on a bartender salary. Was the
Well,
last salary you?
Yeah, so basically there's kind of this weird period where after you get elected, your first paycheck comes at Congress, you get paycheck monthly, okay? You get paid once a month.
Yeah.
And so your first paycheck comes at the end of your first month in Congress.
Okay.
So, like, how do you tide yourself over?
You last that first month.
Yeah, like, these are things that, and a lot of your colleagues, like, don't have to think about it.
Right.
So they're like these interesting little challenges.
And are you?
But I rent in New York and in DC.
And
I'm a
you're-
tenant, okay?
And you're not allowed to take money from constituents to help you out. I'm thinking, I'm putting in terms of like college athletes and stuff. Like you can't take money from sponsors
Yeah,
and
no.
alumni and things like that in college.
No, I mean, in theory, you're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And do you have to drive yourself?
I drive, yeah, or sometimes I'll fly too, or sometimes I'll take the Amtrak, which is what I do a lot too.
Now,
Trains.
what
Yeah,
about?
shout out to Amtrak back
Shout
there.
out to Amtrak.
Good for you.
Now, what about?
And Metro North too, while we're at it. I mean, fuck it.
All right. So now, did you want to do this from an early age?
No.
Or was it
Yeah.
when you were working with the Bernie Sanders campaign? You saw some stuff that you thought, well, maybe that's.
Yeah, well, you know, I never thought that I would be elected to public office. I also didn't think that someone like me or with a background like mine could really get elected to public office.
And that young too, 29. That's the youngest ever, right?
Yeah, it's the youngest woman ever. I mean, you had like,
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean-
that's amazing.
How old were you when you started to get involved and you did your first primary or whatever? You were like 27?
I was 27 when I started running.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
that's
I mean, 27,
it was
Sean,
nuts.
you were making millions of dollars a year on Will and Grace. You know, like everybody's got humble beginnings, right, Sean?
And by the way, and still renting.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, you blew through it all.
Oh, I blew through it, yeah. Wait, I want to know, like, I don't know how any of it, like, I'm like I said, the dumbest person in the world, and how always.
Nobody disagreed.
I
in
know.
The entire audience.
Nobody.
All we get from whatever news source we get is how, I'm probably jumping way ahead, but I just want to get there.
Please, let's get all over the place.
All we get from the TV and wherever we get our news, whatever you watch or read or whatever,
YouTube.
is that it's always at a standstill. Nothing gets accomplished, and we hear the same thing. And how long is this going to go on? When are we going to find somebody or something or anything that can make us meet in the middle? I think both sides are sick and tired of it. You know, like, what is that thing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the thing is what we need to take a look at is that there's a lot of meeting in the middle. It's just about the things that we don't like. So there's a lot of bipartisan consensus around militarism and around Wall Street bailouts and around, you know, helping out corporations and shorting the middle and working class. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that goes on that passes, that gets done to advance that.
But isn't newsworthy or something, or we don't hear about it?
I mean, we don't. If we do hear about it, we don't like it. But there's a lot that goes on that, you know, I just don't think. It's really about, like, what are we doing to affect people's lives and to improve people's lives in a way that's felt.
So then let's say there's a subject that you would like to pull one of the Republicans over and meet in the middle and have some bipartisan consent on and then have a piece of legislation. How does that happen? Do you call somebody who you think might be the most pliable on the other side and say, hey, let's have coffee? Or do you text? Yeah.
Okay.
Or do you come over to my, like, how does this part work?
Like,
let's meet in the middle.
A little bit of all of it.
Do you say try this gummy and then let's talk about
a little bit of all of it. Sometimes sometimes, you know, there are group chats. Like,
really?
That's a thing.
Oh, put me in one.
Yeah.
How bad would you love to just infiltrate and just start lobbing bombs?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
But sometimes, like,
that's a dick pic. Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, the House floor that you see on C-SPAN or at the State of the Union, that's where we go to vote every day. And so it is kind of like a high school cafeteria.
When you see you guys talking next to one another, you're not talking about sports or whatever. Like, you're saying, hey, I want to talk to you about this.
I mean, it's a little bit of...
You're talking about policy and things you're trying to do, and maybe you should make it more like a musical number. Like, make it, you know what I mean, in the cafeteria.
5, 6, 7.
Sean? 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, I'm making bills.
So
By the way, anytime.
Yeah, you don't have to ask him twice. So then it's do you have to worry about the texting being possibly exposed by somebody? Is there an encrypted chat thing for congressmen?
I mean, I feel like some folks, they'll use, I mean, they use the same things that everybody uses, you know?
Yeah.
They'll either use iMessage, Signal, WhatsApp, like whatever it is people use. Or, again, it is like a high school cafeteria where sometimes you're talking to somebody and someone will be like, well, you know who you should talk to? That guy over there. And it's very informal in that way.
Yeah. Is it as rough? Because we obviously
I would do really well there.
What's that?
The informal part?
I know, I think I'd do really well there. I think because it's an...
I think you would.
Informal, and then you're on group chats.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
It really is a lot of schmoozing.
It's a lot of schmoozing, Jason.
What is it? Can I do it?
Yeah.
When people are trying to sort of like figure out, since it's every 2 years for Congress as opposed to 6 years senators?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
And 4 years for president, right? Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm
I
Canadian
guess
and I know that.
No, I know. It's a constant turnover, so how do you keep track of who might be a pliable member of the other side? And the sort of long-winded question, which I'm prone to do, associated with this is, tuck in, just lay back.
Why are you answering your own question while...
It's a thing.
Just ask
I
her
love
a
the
simple
sound of
question and then let her answer it.
When you got there, it was so exciting for a lot of people, for many, many reasons. Did you find that you were either really embraced or not based on all the press coverage that you got the second you got there? Was it helpful or hurtful?
It was, in terms of internal dynamics, it's actually hurtful. Because what happens is that you're sitting right next to a person. And it's a really bizarre experience because, so there's something called a cloakroom.
Oh, here we go.
And
Harry Potter!
yes, there's a lot of Harry
Sean,
Potter
it's
elements.
not Harry Potter shit. No.
No, but he's right. It does sound dope as hell.
And so you have the House floor, you know, like what you see in the State of the Union.
Yeah.
But there are these rooms attached to the House floor.
Yes.
And there is a Democrat's cloakroom, and there's a Republican cloakroom. And so you go in through the cloakroom, and there's like, you know, there's rules about being on the House floor. You can't wear coats, and so you put your
chewing
back
gum?
in the day,
Can
put
you
your
chew gum?
cloakroom. You could put, chewing gum.
Wait. Why can't you wear a coat on the Senate floor? Or on the House floor?
There's pretty strict dress codes. Yeah.
You cannot wear a coat.
Yeah, you can't wear a coat.
Why?
You can't
do
wear
you
a coat.
care?
You can't wear denim. Until very recently, women could not wear sleeveless dresses. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's old school like that. And so they have these things called they're cloakrooms, where back in the day, kind of, you know, in the 1800s and whatnot, members of Congress, they would drop their cloaks there. There used to be chests where you put it up and you pull out huge bottles of booze and put the booze in the thing before you went on the House floor.
Your
They don't
little
have
booze
those
cubby.
anymore.
Yeah.
They don't have those anymore. But
Booze cubby.
yeah, it was like little cubbies. But that's how it was. And so that's like this informal socializing space.
Well,
and
Jimmy Jordan must love the House floor.
Can guys go sleeveless?
That's an excellent question.
That's a question from our friend Justin Thoreau.
Asking for a caller, JT from New York. We get it, man. Your arms are really good.
All right, now, so again, jumping all over the place. You talk about the floor and then the rooms off to the sides off. It makes me think about, I want to go to January 6th for 1 second.
Yeah.
I have a question about why did they all leave once they got in? Is it because they couldn't find you guys? That there were places where you guys were shuttled off
They were
to?
hiding
Yeah.
in the cloakroom.
In the cloakroom. No, but like
Drinking the booze.
But was that because obviously old Mr. What's-His-Face never called them off, so
Yeah.
they didn't leave because of that. Did they leave because you guys were properly stowed away?
Well, the thing that's interesting about the architecture of the Capitol is that, like Harry Potter,
Yep.
like Hogwarts,
Now you got his attention.
It's very Byzantine. It's actually really hard to navigate. And so they couldn't find the halls and the places that you needed to navigate to where member offices were.
Right.
And so they kind of like busted in, and they found some of the main offices, like Pelosi's office and House Leadership's office is there. And
Right,
so
but everybody was gone. Everybody was
Yeah.
taken away. Like that, to me, that's the unsung heroic story of all this.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
somebody, and it was probably the Capitol Police, did
Yeah.
great work of putting
Yes.
everybody away.
Yeah.
And it was like, people like went in to rob a bank and
Yeah.
somebody hid all the money and they were like, well, fuck it, I guess let's
Yeah.
go home. There's
But-
no money here.
Yeah, and
That was a crazy, crazy day, and I think we all.
Oh, was it, Will?
We all remember. Well, we all remember where we were that day. Jason, do you remember where you were?
I was with you on the golf course. Why'd you tee yourself
Well,
up for
why did you
something
get on your high
humiliating?
horse about it with me?
Well, because you said it was a crazy day. Like, well, we get it.
it's funny that you talk about it because, and it's funny that you bring it up kind of after, you know, discussing relationships with with members and Republicans and Democrats, because right before I left, so Congress was in session this week, and so right before I left, they literally had the last vote of the week, and I was just filling something out. So most of the folks were kind of filed out, and some Republicans, I mean, members of Congress in general, like kind of funny people.
Are they?
Pretty unusual.
Are they aware of that?
Yeah. And so the thing that's interesting is like some Republicans are just like, the reality in front of them is like completely divorced from the rhetoric and like all this other stuff that sometimes they go on TV and say. It's really weird.
And does it feel a little high schoolish where like, there are people there that are, obviously I know you don't get along with, they don't get along with you, they can go nameless, but I mean, like, what happens when you pass her in the hallway, Like, I mean, but I mean, is it really not so dissimilar from high school where you either choose to pretend they're not walking by, or is there a snotty look? Is there a snotty aside?
Well,
is there ever like, hey, you know what? Let's hang out this weekend. We can fix this together, and
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it is like high school, and the reason for it is that I think there's just a certain dynamic when you get like 400 people in like a similar space, and like they're literal bells when the vote's called. The bells ring. It's like high school in a lot of ways, like just structured that way. So some people really operate that way.
High school.
So high school
is this place.
Is it up a few floors?
No.
Why do they call it high?
You know what? We don't have time, but we're gonna
double back.
And so some people conduct themselves that way. Some people like actually want to get to know each other. But yeah, I mean, listen.
But like a high school, if it was a person X and person Y that everybody knew they didn't like each other, and then if on Monday everyone came back to school and the word got out like, over the weekend they talked and they're all good, it would blow the high school's mind and everybody would come back together. So I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know, it'd be a really cool thing. I know you're willing. What would you say? I always hear this, well, if you don't like something, call your congressman.
Yeah.
Does that really happen? Do you guys have like voicemail that you
No.
go through every day?
It actually, it depends on who the member is.
Yeah.
Some of them don't care, but some of them really, really do, especially members of Congress who are in swing seats. They're actually very sensitive to the volume of those calls, except it has to be from their constituents. So if you're just calling somebody somewhere else, they're like, I don't care what someone from so-and-so thinks. They're really resonant with their voters. So if their voters are really upset and flooding their phones, that is something, especially if you're in a tough seat, that does really resonate with some of them. But others, and senators, I don't even know.
But if you get a call from 718, you're answering.
Yeah, 718-347.
347.
212s, maybe if you move.
917.
917.
So cool.
What is it about, something I have not really understood is a lot of these folks that are in positions like yourself could make a whole hell of a lot more money back in the private sector, okay? And yet, to keep their seat, I'm obviously talking about a lot of folks on the other side, to keep their seat, they have to twist themselves into these ethical knots to hold the party line, when you can kind of tell they probably wouldn't want to. Like you were saying earlier, they say privately, like, blah, blah. So why are they staying there earning, what I think it's senators make
all members of Congress make $174,000 a year.
Right, and I bet you a lot of those a lot of them very skilled attorneys could make, X number of millions a year. So are they really staying there and holding their job because they have some ideology that they're so passionate about, or they are so altruistic, they want to help, the public? I don't get the sense that a lot of them
Yeah.
do on the other side, I'm sorry to say. And so why are they there when they could be making all this money back in their district?
Well, a lot of them still do make a ton of money because there's a lot of insider trading that goes on in Congress.
There we
What?
go.
And okay, you're not supposed
Not
to.
on my watch.
You're not supposed to like say that term.
See, she's having some of the
because,
Scotch,
you know what I'm
guys.
saying?
We're getting it
Okay,
now.
here's what I'm gonna say: the spirit, like, you know. Because technically, folks will say, you know, technically this is not a crime. Technically, it's not. In spirit, it is. Like, it should not exist, you
Because
know?
they're privy to some information that's coming down the pike and they buy stock in that company.
Exactly. And so it is legal. As a member of Congress, it is currently legal, and I've been trying to change this, folks.
Yeah.
As a member of Congress, it is currently legal to I have access to classified briefings, you can get things down the line, and you can buy stock in individual companies. And it can be within the purview of the committee that you sit on. I mean, it's bonkers.
So
it should not be legal, and we've been working to make it illegal. And I actually think the increased public attention very recently is gonna get us some traction on this issue, knock on wood.
Yeah, how is that still there? That's crazy.
And so not only that, but A, there's that. B, there are plenty of members who are so wealthy and get elected that they don't have to, like, a salary is nothing to them. It's really, there's no trade-off here. I find the psychology of it very interesting too, because I ask myself the same question. I'm like, because the thing is, like, it's a real pain in the butt, you know? You lose your anonymity, it can be grueling, people are yelling at you. So if you have
Your life is threatened.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, why do this?
Because you walk into a restaurant and they're like, right this way.
And I do think, no, but like, I think that there is a psychology to that where there's a certain kind of power and influence that money can't buy. And there's like a prestige that I think money can't buy that is part of the psychology of some people, not everybody. There are legitimately plenty of members of Congress who are just salt of the earth, incredible, amazing human beings. Jamie Raskin, Mark Takano.
love Jamie Raskin.
You know, like,
wow. Yeah.
amazing. So, you know, it's not everybody, but there absolutely
Yeah.
is that element to it.
So you're spending 99% of your time being super duper smart, being incredibly generous with your time and your occupation and everything. What do you do to be a dumbass? What is like, are you watching Below Deck? Are you chewing gummies like crazy? What do you do? What do you do to be stupid?
Okay, so because work is so crazy and like emotional, etc., I have to watch like dumb television.
Yeah.
What's the favorite dumb?
Please say
So, like-
Ozark when you say that.
No, like,
Jay.
fun, funny stuff.
kidding.
And I play.
You know, Murderville, though, is a new show.
Hey, I'm actually excited about that.
No.
I'm legitimately. I saw the first commercial for it like a day or two ago, and I'm like, oh, this looks really
That
funny.
show's rad,
No.
by the way.
Yes.
You
No.
seriously watch Murderville.
Don't-
Very good.
So
Don't watch it streaming on Netflix right now. It's not a big deal.
Really, really good. It is good. It is good.
Thank you.
You see the way I take the high road, guys?
I know.
Yeah. Jay,
So she's going to answer what her favorite dumb show is.
Okay.
Oh man. Well, I don't know. I mean, I've watched like COVID. Selling Sunset was one of them.
Yes,
What is
I watched
this?
that.
Selling Sunset.
Selling Sunset.
I also play video games.
Yes.
PC games. So League of Legends. It's
League
kind
of
of
Legends,
me.
nice.
Like, yeah, no one knows what that is.
Sometimes I like to watch great comedies. One of my favorite is a film they made a few of that one of my friends, a mutual friend of ours, is in. And this guy who is in one of my favorite comedy movies, comedy trilogies, it's not him. Oh, wait.
But let's thank him anyway.
Wait.
It is him.
Wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, our friend wanted to say hi, and we're only in town to do this. Bradley Cooper!
Get in.
You get in the middle.
Come on,
Hey, sit down. Sit down.
What?
Sit down. Sit it down.
Oh my God.
Sit there.
All right. So.
I had to fix the light.
Thank you very much. He's moonlighting as an electrician.
By the way,
so-
Jay, I
I know. By the way,
had no idea.
I know.
I had no idea. Did you know?
I did.
That was a setup?
No, I saw. Okay.
That was perfect.
Oh my God.
It works.
So you didn't do it right.
He's testing my work.
Okay, so Bradley called and he said, I hear you guys are coming to town. Let's all hang out because we're all, the four of us are very, very good friends. And he said, well, we're only in town for a few minutes. He said, well, let me come by and say hi before the show. And I said, well, no, then they're gonna know the guests. I said, the only time we got is on stage, so please come out and say hi on the stage.
I just want to say one thing, and then I'll leave.
You're not going anywhere.
You stay.
You're not going anywhere.
I've known all of these people. Like I met Will in 1998, and then I met Sean through Alias in like 2000, and then I met Bateman. And these guys have all been gunslingers for 20 years. You'd always say like, who's the quickest guy in the room? Jason Bateman. Who's the funniest guy in the world? Will Arnett. Who's the funniest guy ever? Sean Hayes. So I've been you for 20 years. I've been you for 20, so it's so unbelievable that they're sharing their skill set with you. How lucky are we? It's just the truth, man. Will and I lived together in Venice, California, and it was like, I used to watch this every day. It's like crazy.
So, well, hang on. Let's get into that. I'm sorry, but pardon us. Okay. So, because no, this is good. You're gonna find this interesting. So, tell us about you two living together in Venice. What was that all about?
So Bradley lived in the back of this property. He lived in the back house.
How old were you?
We were 10.
We were very young. I mean, I play 38 now, so do the math. At the most. At the most.
23.
I remember the first time I met him was at your place, at your apartment.
Playing cards.
Yeah, playing cards at your apartment, and that's when you lived in the back. And I was like, you were like, meet my friend Bradley, and you answered the door with boxers on. I was like, hello. And I was like,
but that's
Nice
how
to
you
meet
always
you.
answer the door, right? Is hello.
hello.
That's right.
And so Bradley lived we had this building in the back, and we had our friends.
Yeah, we lived with Ron Rifkin and Ive
his wife
Rifkin, who I
Iva
did
lived in the
Alias
front.
with. Yeah.
And then Bradley and I shared this building in the back, and our doors were connected, were open, and we overlooked.
Yeah.
There was a property we overlooked
Dennis
Hopper's
Hopper.
house.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Wow.
And we used to see him sometimes in the alley.
That's right.
Driving that old Jaguar, and then it was so weird. It was California, man. Come on. And
then we were doing Arrested on the same lot that you were doing
Kitchen Confidential.
Kitchen Confidential.
But the other thing is, like, we've all been through it together. You know what I mean? That's really the thing.
wait.
Is like, we used to talk about like our dreams and will we ever be able to fulfill them. And he and I mean, it's actually very emotional. We were backstage just thinking, you know, if you just take the time and you work hard, it can happen. It is possible. And the best part about it, though, is when you do it with people you love.
Yeah.
And that's what's just so gratifying.
Bradley's saying this story, but
Right? I mean,
yes,
that's
for
it.
sure.
100%.
Wait.
I mean, it's,
So Bradley's sick of this story. He was at my house. This is years and years and years ago, and he's like, "Hey, I got called to do this musical on Broadway. Will you play through the songs for me?" And I was like, "Sure." What are you doing a musical on Broadway for? He's like, "I don't know. You got like 18 movies coming out." He's like, "I don't know if any of them will work." Blah blah blah. And like literally, so we're working on this stuff, and he's singing, and I'm like, "Dude, this is great. We ate lunch, whatever." And then like a month later, The Hangover came out. I'm like, "You're such an asshole." Like,
Yeah, it's funny, you know, because we do get to do, like, this is so bizarre that we're doing this in this way, but it is all about those, you remember, we were talking backstage about remembering where you came from and how hard it was and all that kind of stuff. And Bradley, he directed A Star Is Born.
Woo!
And
yes.
I mean,
So great.
incredible. And we were in Vegas, and
Yeah,
Bradley
this
was
was crazy.
unveiling the trailer, and I was on stage, and I got to introduce.
Yeah, he was the MC for all of the Warner Brother media, which is the hardest job. He was like
And Bradley came out, and we did this thing, and he played this trailer. We sat there with this crowd, not unlike this, and we sat at the edge of the stage, and this trailer played, and it was emotional, man.
Yeah.
It was really wild, and it's so great to be able to do that with people you love.
Yeah.
Well, I can only imagine.
And that's how a bill becomes a law.
No, but like I can only imagine how fulfilling, like how much deeper and gratifying it is to be able to celebrate a friend's victory when you know like what they went through to get that.
Yeah.
You know, you're not meeting someone at the peak when you've met someone
Yeah.
when they were just, you know, at their lowest sometimes.
I'm glad
And
you
then to
mentioned
see
Teen Wolf
them.
too, because that took a lot of guts.
She did. Will. She never said.
She didn't say it.
She didn't say it. She
Okay,
didn't say
forget it. Forget
She never
it.
said.
Forget
Yeah,
it. Forget it. Forget
Who,
it.
I auditioned twice for that movie. I got callback.
and Sean turned it down twice. Who are some of your gal pals in DC, like we were coming up, that you're now pals with? You guys are coming up as young politicians that you hope to grow old with there. And
I want to know that answer, and then who's your favorite Republican?
Okay.
It's a good question.
I like that question. Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, there's Ayanna Pressley, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, like just absolutely incredible. But also, you know, a lot of my friends from when I was working in restaurants and bartending downtown, like those are my ride or die as well. And those are still the people around me that are some of the most important people to me.
If you were going to go out in DC and really release the valve because it was a tough week, who's the first call?
Okay.
Release the valve.
Okay, I think he's another.
I had some addiction problems, guys.
So I think another congressman from New York, Mondaire Jones.
Yeah.
He's really fun. You know, there's just a lot of folks who are.
Who would be the most likely to give you a high five?
Who's
the high fiver?
Who's a high
I
fiver?
bet it's a Republican.
Yeah, I think Republicans.
Because Mitch McConnell seems super easy.
He does seem like a fun guy.
Yeah. So as far as Republicans go, high fivers, Tim Burchett of Tennessee, he's a high fiver. There's some folks who are high
Who's the
fivers.
hugger? There's always a hugger.
I'm a hugger.
You're a hugger? You're allowed to,
I
though.
try not to be I always, you know, make sure I do the vibe check before I hug, but I do like to hug.
Bradley, could you ever run for office?
Yes.
Come on.
Come on.
Come
No?
on.
It's funny you say that because I was going to maybe say it if we had a chance to talk, but what you've decided to do, really, what you've decided to do with your life is the most selfless thing one can do. You know, everybody
Yes,
talks about...
totally true.
No, but we talk about how much we believe in something, and we talk to our friends who will agree with us, but to get out there and say, I'm going to sacrifice my life,
I agree with
my
you.
privacy, my well-being potentially, for what I believe in the greater good of all of our country, it's like, that's it. That's it. So...
Yeah.
Having said that, what are your favorite movies?
I have to say to that.
And start with his, and then we're gonna go.
Go all the way around, all the way around, all the way around.
And feel
then
free
we're
to
gonna go
come
through you
back
guys, all your
around,
favorite
come back
movies.
around.
Everybody get the favorite movies.
Yeah, we just
all right?
start here, just move.
Start it.
Yeah,
go
no,
inside.
I have to say though, we kicked off this whole tour in DC, and you know, again, and you know, I went there once with my husband Scotty. We just were there so super fast, so we didn't get to see anything. But this trip with these guys, we actually walked around and we got those little bird bikes that we drove around like idiots.
They're scooters, not bikes.
Scooters. And so, again, idiot, I was just like, wow, I was so humbled to be, I'm sure everybody says this, but just not being there, not visiting and not knowing anything about it is like, wow, there's so much history and so much respect once you go there and see it and
man, it's the capital, dude.
It's just incredible. No.
Sean kept going. He kept going. He's on a
what
bird
is
going,
this place?
This is where they make the laws.
Wait a second.
This is where they make, and he's like, literally, they make the laws there. They make the laws. Right?
Yeah.
They make, this is guys. And we're like, yeah,
I'm
we
like
know,
this.
man.
I'm like this.
Total
and
true
then-
story. You'll see it in the doc.
You'll see it in the doc. And I literally was like, oh, look at that. And then a wall. No, I just wanted to.
Could you ever run for office?
Look at me, of course. By the way, I'm sadly, by the way, I've been alive now for, 5 or 6 presidents, and one particular president, I won't say who it is, I saw win an election. I was like, if that guy can win, I literally can win. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd vote for Sean.
Let's go. Sean for president.
Somebody needs to make, please, one of you make hats that say, I'd vote for Sean. I know I'm Canadian. That was so accusatory.
You could actually.
I'm both, by the way,
exactly,
so suck
it's both.
it.
There you go.
Wait,
Smarty pants over here.
Oh boy, don't get him riled
Come
up,
on.
guys.
I have
He's
one.
been really well behaved.
I know.
I can feel it though. I can
Fucking
feel it.
rocks to a knife fight over here.
I do. What is the one law that you're working on, or one that you, more than anything, that you're really, really passionate about, that you really want to see go through?
I mean, there's so many. Medicare for all is a big one. I mean, this janky healthcare system that we have in the United States, the fact that we are, the so-called most developed, wealthiest country in the world, and we also have the highest maternal mortality rate of the developed world. I mean, this is ridiculous.
It's kind of embarrassing.
It absolutely is embarrassing. And I think COVID also showed a lot of that too. Like, the whole rest of the world is like, y'all live like that? Like, really?
It's exciting though when you see something get done that's immediate, either through executive action or something similar to. How did you? Speaking of which, how did you get? She get over $1 billion was sent to reimburse the families of people who lost somebody during COVID for the funeral costs.
Yeah.
Like you were behind that. Like that's incredible, and it was done like that.
Yeah. I mean, that was really gratifying, and I think it's a perfect example of governance and public governance working the way that it should work. So when COVID first hit, it hit New York City. It was one of the first. New York City was one of the first places that got hit super intensely, and out of all of New York City, and out of the entire country, out of the top 10 most impacted, most hit zip codes in the country by COVID, 5 of them were in my district. And this was at the onset of the pandemic when people still didn't even know what was going on. We didn't know how it spread.
So
we didn't
scary.
know anything about it. And what we saw was that there was a neighborhood in our district, in our community, in East Elmhurst in Queens, and they were saying, this is hitting us really hard, and it's hitting frontline workers harder. It's hitting, people whose jobs are public facing, food service workers, hospital workers, retail workers. Like, it's hitting us hardest.
And we can't even afford to bury the people that have.
I don't believe it happened. I don't believe it happened.
What?
No, what?
But this is, and I guess probably a lot of people want to know also, was the baby real? In The Hangover. Sorry, this is for Bradley.
I think you meant
In
American.
The Hangover.
Oh, I think you meant American Sniper. American
Sniper.
Why would you bring that up?
Sniper.
Why would you bring that up
I like
again?
both. I like both.
I can't
By the
get
way,
over
I
that.
love American Sniper.
Bro,
You
I
know
didn't
that.
have money for the baby.
You know,
I don't want to tell you.
Okay.
I moved his hand. I made it work.
move his hand.
Thank you, bro.
But you
Arnett over
recognize
here.
that, you put it up front and got it done.
Yeah, so folks
Quickly.
in our community, they said, listen, this is like a huge cost, and we're gonna need help. And so we took that, I brought it to the House Democratic Caucus, I brought it to the Speaker, I brought it to our Senator, Chuck Schumer, to like anyone who was listening.
Yeah.
I was like, we need to do this. And it took a little while, it wasn't immediate, it took a lot of work, but we were able to authorize in total $8 billion to reimburse any
awesome.
funds
Unbelievable.
for anybody who lost someone due to COVID.
Amazing.
It's not means tested, there's no crazy, there's no income thresholds, nothing. This is impacting all of us. We're all in this together. We're all going to help each other. No questions asked.
Yes, for sure.
Well, we don't want to take any more of your valuable time. You can continue, please, the incredible work that you're doing. Thank you for taking a little time out, hanging out with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Such an honor. Thank you. AOC! Should we?
No, wait. You can go too. You can go too.
No,
I'm kidding.
No.
Stay here.
We have an announcement to make. SmartLess is now 4 people.
Yeah.
Come on!
I mean,
We couldn't make his deal, but he did say he'd stop by.
Bradley, you could do it. You're very familiar with the show now.
I love the show. You
Right,
kidding?
you've just gotten caught up on all the episodes
Yeah.
Of Murderville.
of Murder.
You guys, thank you for. Were you done, Angel?
No, I wanted to talk about
I was still
AOC.
talking to
Oh, go ahead.
to Bradley.
I got a
about-
heart out.
I mean, where are you going?
Go ahead. This better be good.
I wanted to.
I know.
I wanted to say about AOC that it was. First of all, I can't believe you got her, Jason, to come down
I
here
know.
and chat with us.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's a game changer, a one of a kind. Like you said in your intro, just a one of a kind. And I got nervous meeting her because she's super smart, and I didn't want to ask dumb questions, but I did anyway.
Yeah.
But she wasn't judging you. I thought that you were
She's
fine.
doing that back there right now.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're very, very look, whether you agree with her or disagree with her, it's undeniable that the people, as Bradley, you said, that are taking their time
Yes,
and
at the very least,
choosing to spend their, like frontline workers, which I think we have some here tonight, perhaps, yes?
Yeah.
Woo! I mean, it's thank you guys, and we know that we're, a safe distance from smart, and we're just doing dumb chat crap that hopefully you guys enjoy listening to when you're in the middle of doing stuff that's really important. So,
Yeah. No. Yeah, we do this as a goof. We started this as a goof, and we're so lucky that you guys listen to us on a weekly basis. We feel, and even we can have people like our guests tonight, and no matter where you fall on either side, we can all come together, and on a night like this in a Thank you, Bradley Cooper!
Bradley Cooper!
SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Bennett Barbaco, Michael Grant Terry, and Rob Armjarf.
SmartLess.